In this video, we will be comparing Knight's third skill and the newly refined Elemental Envoy. Here's a refresher on how Elemental Envoy used to work before the update. Previously, Elemental Envoy is characterized as a legendary hero. You would need to craft the Echo Chamber in order to use this character. But now you can just buy it as a standard character. Before the update, its stats are for health and for armor, while other stats are the same. Elemental Envoy used to have a passive buff that makes it immune to ice and fire, basically these two buffs combined. While its skill summons towers and can accumulate 3 stacks, cooldown time being 3 seconds for each stack. Now, Elemental Envoy's passive buff combines both the previous passive buff and skill together. Now the passive buff provides these 2 buffs whilst also summon random elemental towers to attack enemies. There could be only 2 towers at the same time and despawns after 8 seconds. The current skill is now called Elemental Affinity. Push down on the skill button and you can select for types of elements to use. Drag and select which element you want to use. Electric Element. Zaps 3 nearby enemies dealing damage. Dealing damage to the zapped enemies can zap to 2 nearby enemies. Ice Element throws out a giant snowball that bounces and breaks up upon contact into medium-sized then small-sized snowballs. Dealing ice damage to the same enemies have a chance to spawn ice pools as well as spawning extra snowballs. Fire Element releases 12 fireballs that deal 3 damage each outward, dealing 3 burning damage and having a chance to spawn fire pools. If enemies are close to each other, a fireball will spawn and bounce up to 2 times and spread the burning effect. Poison Element releases a slow-moving poison gas that deals 1 damage every 0.5 seconds. I swear this thing is so slow that it barely travels 1 centimeter when I die due to old age. If you are holding a non-elemental weapon, the weapon's attacks will be imbued with random elements while the skill is active. And elements now can interact with each other while skill is active, and the skill lasts for 5 seconds and has a 6-second cooldown. Kill enemies to increase skill duration, since there is for elements that can interact with each other, meaning there would be 6 possible combinations. You would think Chilly Room would add all of them.
Please, B, I need this! My mom is kind of homeless.
But note, there are only 3 possible combinations. Fire plus Ice creates a water puddle that slows down enemies and decreases their attack speed. Fire plus Electric causes an explosion and a lightning strike that deal 12 and 15 damage respectively. Fire plus Poison creates an explosion, dealing 8 damage and applying the burn effect. Now onto its starting weapon, Visage of Elemental Power. Before the update, the weapon costs 3 energy to fire explosions with different effects that deal for damage. The effects include blue, freeze, orange, burn, purple, stun, charge, and release. The explosion is now bigger and deal 8 damage. This weapon was very bad. After the update, the weapon costs the same and deal 8 damage instead of 4, but now it does not have a charge attack. Instead, the third attack makes the explosion bigger but deals the same 8 damage. Now on to Knight's third skill. In terms of stats, Knight has 7 health, 6 armor, and 200 energy. Now on to a skill, Chaotic Strike. When activated, your attacks is imbued with different effects including fire, ice, electric, poison, explosion, and shock, leaving elemental pools behind. Lasting for 5 seconds and having a 6-second cooldown. But when an enemy is killed, it extends the skill duration. For starting weapon, Knight has new pistol when fully upgraded. It costs 0 energy, shooting bullets that deal for damage and have a chance to shoot out 5 bullets all at once. At max level, Knight has a passive buff called Sturdy Shield. Basically, armor can now tank any damage without affecting health. Now let's compare. Knight is a character that has more defensive stats and buffs compared to Elemental Envoy. Chaotic Strike is a skill that relies heavily on the weapon you are using. Elemental Envoy used to be a more passive character, using its skill to summon towers to block bullets and deal damage, as it is very squishy. However, after this update, Elemental Envoy is now a glass cannon to an extreme degree. Its skill also relies on the weapon you are using, and due to the fact that now there are only 2 elemental towers that spawn away from your character, making you even more vulnerable. But due to it having special element combos, it is a lot more stronger compared to Chaotic Strike, despite both of these skills having almost the same effect. With the same lobby prep, especially when paired with Sweet Talk, Elemental Envoy clears. Due to its skill being more deadlier than Chaotic Strike, but you would need to have both fire plus electric effects on the enemy for the skill to work effectively, especially against bosses. Otherwise, you would get steamrolled. However, Knight's more defensive stats and buff makes him more adaptable to more various environments under no lobby prep. In short, Knight with Chaotic Strike and Elemental Envoy are both complete opposites of each other. One trades off offense for more defense, while the other trades off defense for extreme offense. To me, both are pretty bad, but I would pick Knight more frequently than Elemental Envoy if I don't have lobby. Never mind, I would like to change my decision. So, instead of picking between the two, just use interdimensional travel.